where are we heading once all jobs are pretty much obsolete? So you're seeing here some faces right now. They're pretty much some of the biggest names in the AI field. Pretty much all of them are certain that we will reach AGI by 2030. And AGI is pretty much the point where AI reaches a level of cognitive abilities where it at least matches or surpasses the best human beings on Earth. So once we are there, it's pretty likely, or at least you would think, that from there progress will likely speed up immensely, which could be the case, but there could also be another case where we kind of hit a wall through fear, regulations, and all kinds of these things. This will lead to a massive friction, right? Okay, honestly, it will not be like a literal wall. It will be more like, you know, when you drive in Mario Kart and try to cut the corner, but then you accidentally drive through the mud and get really slow. These regulations and stuff like that will likely slow down the progress. Let's look at a timeline which includes the regulations. So here we hit AGI. We think things are going to speed up quick, but actually they only speed up a little bit from there. And then we hit a point where we got through the mud, where we got through the points of regulations of the things holding us back, and we're ready to lift the fuck off. And it behaves like kind of an S-curve. It starts slow and then it goes quicker to a point where after AGI we also reach ASI, artificial superintelligence. I don't have a definition for it, but if AGI is already that intelligent, then this would likely be some multiples more intelligent and would speed up things even more. All white collar jobs would likely be obsolete by then because AI can do literally everything on a computer. It will also be intelligent enough to analyze enough video material to learn how to control robots the right way, which would lead to a point where even robots are able to do most of the physical work which we humans are able to do. So by 2045, somewhere around here, 2040, 2045, it could be the case that we are able to automate 50 to 80% of pretty much all jobs. And once we're able to automate 50 to 80% of all jobs, then there's going to be a huge amount of people which don't have a job at all, which is kind of scary. I mean, what are they going to do? The only solution would be for the government to introduce something like a UBY. People don't have to work anymore and they will get a UBY. But there would still be a class of people which are highly skilled and which are working in the jobs where robots are not able to work yet. So it's kind of questionable time period. Like, are these people who are that highly skilled in these special fields going to be rich because they get paid so well, or are they not going to get paid so well? And are the others with a UBY, are those people gonna get paid very badly, and how is this thing gonna turn out? But it could be the case that some people don't do anything, UBY is enough. Many people will have to continue to work. Maybe it's not that we get a UBY, but we have to work way less and get the same amount of money as today, just for a third of the work or whatever. And yeah, the highly skilled will likely to continue working full time. It's a very uncertain time period, but in the end, all roads will lead to everything being automated. So what then, right? Maybe this is you right now, thinking, okay, what the fuck do I do? Okay, I didn't want to make fun of you, sorry. But you might ask the question, yeah, what do I do after a job? Well, wait. You obviously don't have to do these things to pass by your free time. You don't have to do these X-rated things, right? Let's ignore what just happened here on the screen. He's just scratching himself on the knee, right? Okay. No, but in all honesty, what is the purpose without working a job? I mean, we're gonna be economically obsolete, right? Let's first look a little bit more pessimistic scenario. We are economically obsolete and therefore generally obsolete. What would lead to nobody giving a fuck about us, not the government, not the rich people, and we would have to get by ourselves. We would have to fight for scraps. We would have to kind of survive, and the rich would ban us onto some unfruitful lands while they live on the fruitful lands in the good places with enough water, and we live in desert-like places. If that's the case, nobody gives a fuck about us. We would be powerless and they would have all the power. So theoretically, they could use the worthless human beings and let us participate in real-life fucking Hunger Games for their entertainment. They could bring back gladiator fights with us. They could force us to participate in real-life purge event just for them to have some entertainment. Some sadistic entertainment. Or they would use their robot armies, AI armies, to just erase every sub-elite human being. And yeah, we are pretty much fucked. And they are safe in their paradise, zipping some vodka, some rum, while having their robot slaves do literally everything for them, right? Pretty much like this. They're gonna get fed, the robot's gonna do all the work, and we, the normal people, are fucked. Okay, now, all jokes aside, it's highly unlikely that this happens, because for this case to happen, there would have to be a very powerful entity able to even suppress all the other elites so they can do shit against this. Because not all rich people are evil, right? So if the power would be divided on all of them, there would likely be some which are against this. Yes, maybe they would just accept it, because why would they fight against other rich people? AKA, why would they intervene? But I don't know, for this to happen, there would have to be a lot of shamelessness in the world, which could happen, yeah, but intuitionally, I feel like it's not a very likely scenario. A more likely scenario is something like this. Nobody gives a fuck about normal people, so they have to fight for scraps. Or they literally just erase us, because if they would leave us or do these things, there could be a threat of civil war or people standing up for themselves, even though they would not stand much of a chance, because the elites have all the robots and all the power to suppress the normal people, all the weapons and stuff. But I also find this not too likely. This is the most likely pessimistic dystopian scenario, in my opinion. But then the good news is we also have an optimistic side. We'll be economically obsolete and therefore economically free and stay socially important. It would be counterproductive to erase a lot of humanity. If you're an elite planning to do it, don't do it. We are social, you need every single one. Okay, just maybe I convinced him even more to erase us. Sorry. So, human connection would likely stay very, very relevant. Nurturing relationships, mentoring others, building strong communities. And it would likely also lead to new types of jobs, just like this one here, which already exists in Japan, where there are people who you can rent as a boyfriend, or just people who you can rent to spend time with. And maybe there will be more of this in the world in the future. It sounds kind of sad, but I mean, why not? And just this image, man, this is a reason to fucking live. Have you ever sit around a campfire with people you like and just listen to the fire, talk with them, and maybe had some music in the background? That's a great fucking feeling. We're gonna enter the age of exploration, because of all the free time you will be able to live a nomadic life, travel through the world, see new places, learn new things, and maybe even research science or explore some oceans with some underwater drones or whatever. You'll be able to afford them. They're gonna be very cheap. You can explore spirituality, all kinds of things. Or maybe you can think of an old myth from the place where you're from and try to actually do some journalism on it, some research on what's actually behind it. Like, you generally sit down like a detective and try to solve your local village myth or whatever. Like, maybe there's a myth of a creature living in your forest. Go hunt that fucking creature, motherfucker. Nah, but you get my point, right? Or you could just explore alternate virtual worlds through full VR, which would feel like actual reality. They will be here in the future. Yes, they will. If you love archaeology, you can enter an uncharted like world where there are still a lot of treasures in the world, and you could try to hunt these treasures and find them. Go into the jungle. You could search for El Dorado in that world, or you focus on self-actualization. You can pursue what truly matters to you, follow your passions, play life on creative mode, and become who you actually want to become. And at the same time, I mean, it's part of the same book, page in the same book. Lifelong learning. You could pursue knowledge, mastering new skills, new crafts, learn about science, study quantum physics, or whatever you can think of. Play chess and try to actually work your brain and express your creativity through art, philosophy, writing, music, paint, sing, play piano, compose, create music. This could be the age of actual living, and I'm sure that we are heading towards this direction. If you look at a trend from the last 2 centuries, the world pretty much moved into a very positive direction. Poverty went down, basic education went up, literacy went up, democracy went up. It's that the trend is still continuing. Also, the chart of quality of life from pretty early stage of humankind is like this. Like, as hunter and gatherer, we were pretty decently happy. Then in the agricultural shift, everything plummeted, but we climbed back up. And in the age of transition, something like this could happen again, but instead of taking a couple thousand years, it will likely take a couple years. You know, everything speeds up exponentially, so also the time period of the negative will speed up exponentially. So in today's world, such things could not happen again for such a long time. If it plummets again, then it will be there for a few years until we have a new solution to that problem, and then it will get even better than ever before. So the transition could look like this potentially, but it doesn't have to. Maybe it's clean, but in the end it will pretty likely lead to a post-scarcity world. A world where it's pretty self-explaining, where we have no more scarcity. A world where money likely doesn't play such a big role anymore. From today's standpoint, from today's point of view, it's kind of hard to imagine how that world would look like exactly, but we will get there. In the early stage of such a post-scarcity world, there are still questions for some things. For example, land. How will land enter a state of post-scarcity? Because land is scarce. It's limited on this planet. So a solution could be in a further future when we get multi-planetary, colonize other planets, engineer other planets, create atmospheres on there, and maybe grow plants on there, so it looks as beautiful as Earth. Another thing which will stay valuable in early stages are life events. Like, who's gonna pay for your Taylor Swift ticket, man? That's an important thing, right? Who's gonna pay for that? Like, who is allowed to go there when money doesn't play a role anymore? So this would kinda stay valuable. If there are still some rich people or people who wanna have a status symbol, then they would likely get human-made stuff because that is a status symbol. Like, it's probably rare. Human connection, obviously, will always stay pretty relevant. Human hospitality, if you go in a restaurant, many people would like to get served by another human being instead of robots. Energy, yeah, pretty self-explaining, but could get solved in the long term through nuclear fusion, through solar energy, through Dyson spheres, something like that. And last but not least, attention and fame. That's also a thing which will likely stay pretty relevant. If not for money, singers, musicians, fighters, they will likely do all that for their legacy, for attention and fame. You know, they will not do it for money anymore. But yeah, many of these things can be solved through certain things. As I said for land, as I said for energy, But also life events can kind of be solved through full dive VR, for example. If there are not enough physical places in a full dive VR, in a real life concert, you could go there through full dive VR and pretty much are physically there for you, and it's actually live in the real world. So for you it makes no difference, but you are not actually there. But for you it feels like you're actually there. You can interact and simulate it. That could be a potential solution. And even human connection, if there are some lonely people out there, full dive VR could be a solution for that too. I mean, it sounds fucking sad if you think about it. You enter a world with AI NPCs, but they are so fucking real and advanced that it literally makes no difference from a feeling point of view. Just think about when you watch a series, right? Which you really like, and you have a favorite character and that character dies, you feel a decent human connection to that person very often. Like you're sad when something tragic happens to that person in the series. Now you get over it very quickly because you know it's not real, but it's very easy to forget that if you would literally be in a full dive VR world which feels like reality, which is one to reality. This could also be a very dangerous and a negative thing, but also a good thing. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Also attention and fame. I mean, you could enter a full dive VR world and hustle your way up in there. You could make it hard so it's not too much of an instant gratification to become fame. You could actually make it so that it's hard enough to feel the struggle to get there, but also to not feel like it's impossible, if you get what I mean. Like you actually work to get to this goal in this full dive VR world. So yeah, full dive VR is the solution to any other problems. But at the end of the day, in a true post-scarcity world, we will get to a point with solutions to all of these things. And that's likely where we are heading. Let me know in the comments what you think about what will happen in the next 20 to 30 years. If you like what I was talking about, then give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Subscribe. See ya.